Hi, this is Angel Jones. I love great conversations where life's journey is communicated not only through words, but tones and emotions. Explosive expressions that allow you to feel what they felt and learned. A fool learns only from his own mistake, while the wise learn from their own and from those others have made. Thanks for being here with us. Good night, Jeff Moore. You know, it's a name like a last name like Moore. You have to be very particular with the conversation type you're having. So I'm expecting more. So I say, hey Jeff, how are you going?
Uh, Angel, this is a really kind of an interesting thing you've got going here, and I'm honored to be part of it.
Hey, I'm honored to have you as well, my friend. So tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
I would think that there's the thing that has introduced me more to the world than anything is in 2010 I created a boardroom Thursday a group mastermind, and we started with four people just watching the Ultimate Business Mastery Summit home course and kind of discussing it amongst the four people. And over the last 6 years, that's grown from four people to over 200 or 635 people in 24 countries.
Wow.
And it's a free mastermind group called Thursday Night Boardroom at thursdaynightboardroom.com. People can join. We meet live in person once a month, but then we also interact on Facebook. And it's been fantastic. A lot of people will liken it to AA for entrepreneurs.
Wow.
A place where you can feel you can be totally vulnerable and feel safe at the same time.
How?
And it's been fantastic. We've had people I've seen people come through there that have gone from generating $5,000 to $7,000 a month online to today they're generating $400,000 a month online. So just that type of interaction. I mean, I'm not taking claim for anybody's success. I'm just saying that there's a place that these people all seem to feel like they can go to get the real answers, to get unfiltered, perspective. And I think that that's really the thing that people, have gotten to know me about, for around the world. But then more locally, I'm a seafood. I own a seafood company, and for the longest time, I had a direct-to-consumer seafood company called Wild Things Seafood. But we closed that down this year just because the importing and processing business that we sell seafood to the food service trade, to restaurants and hotels, resorts. That's just gotten so big that the small direct-to-consumer business really became more of a distraction, oddly enough.
Hmm. I'm really intrigued in that model that you guys created with the mastermind. So is it a
Yes.
male and female mastermind group?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And what's also cool is that it's not industry specific. And so you get people in there that, you get world-class online marketers in there, you get promotions specialists in there, world-class podcasters. And then you get people from brick and mortar, you get attorneys and chiropractors, dentists, people that are in food sales. It really spans the globe. I mean, cosmeticians, I mean, all sorts of people that from all walks of life. And wisdom really comes from multiple perspectives. And that's really the beauty of this thing, is that they come in, we have a series of questions that we ask, and we also require everybody to introduce themselves in what we call a compelling introduction. And I can reveal that to you if you want.
Sure.
That really opens up the conversation. And then we have some curriculum that we might go through and discuss that. And then at the end, we really start to individually will hot seat people. People will come in, and I'll kind of pull from them what's their big challenge or opportunity that they're embarking on right now or facing right now. And that really opens up a lot of great conversation. Just in this last one, we had one last Thursday. This one woman who's an online marketer, teaches people how to build their automation funnels and get leads automatically online. And she was really having a hard time going from her free stuff to the private coaching. And so we literally helped her map out. And this is, by the way, people that aren't necessarily in the online world as well. We helped her map out a stair step, a gateway program that was more like $197 instead of her $1,497 program that they were jumping into. And, and so we really kind of worked through that. And she was just super excited that she had this new offer and something that she was just hitting her head against the wall every day, trying to figure out how to make this happen. And we created this reality for her right in front of her eyes.
Yeah, it's the power of the mastermind.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. So you were sitting and you said in that living room, like what made that happen, that you decided that you're going for this to create what? Well, obviously you weren't thinking as large as it is now,
No.
But what was the emotions behind it?
No, and nobody ever thinks of it as being, they might say like, oh, I've got this dream of being that way, but we only know the next step, right?
Yeah.
It's this big, long journey, but the next step's the only one that's lit.
Agreed.
But my whole thing was, it was on a Thursday night. My kids were usually at some kind of an event, school event. And I just said, on Thursday night, I'm going to stay here, and I've got all this content and this Ultimate Business Mastery Summit with Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes. I said, I'm going to watch this on Thursday night. And I invited a few people, and my attitude was, whether you come or not, I'm going to get better. So I'd love to have you here. We can really collaborate and talk and make this a pretty cool event. And that's where it started. 4 people started, and it's went from 4 to 10 to, there's been as many as 45 people in the room at times. That's not a mastermind anymore, by the way. That's a mini seminar.
It is.
A mastermind's really, maybe 10 or 12 people at most to really get and collaborate, and everybody kind of gets their time. But that's what we did. And it was just about getting better. And what people told me was, they said, you have a knack for taking the content and literally turning to somebody in the room and telling them how that content pertains to them.
Wow.
And how they could use that content. So I would tell the person's story that I'm, that's in the room. I would tell their story better than they could to themselves. I would see something better than they could. And that really started to draw a lot of people to this. And really how I do everything in life, whether it's selling seafood or working with some of my private clients on business consulting, it's really being able to help them. I see a better story than they can see for themselves.
Interesting. All right. I'll say something here just because I can. I can tell that we are going to be very good friends. Very good friends.
I hope so.
So why will you continue to repeat this skill that you're doing? I mean, it must be something that has become, should I say, overwhelming, but it's definitely larger than you would have imagined. So but why will you continue to repeat? What's the motivation?
I love what I do with this group so much that it's not about me. The people like, why would you keep expending the effort? I literally get energy from every single conversation I have. And the fact that I can pick up a phone anytime and call anybody, and literally my life, my business, and anything that I face in life, I'm only limited by my ability to articulate an effective question. And the people in this group will converge to help me, help anybody else in this group. And there's not a more satisfying sense of energy, contribution, and fulfillment that I've ever received in my life. I mean, I could do this for free for the rest of my life, and I'm doing it for free. So I certainly have proven that for the last 6 years. People say you should charge. I mean, Angel, we have people that come in and they'll go to their first session and they'll come into my office after I'm trying to clean up and people are still talking and I'm trying to kick them out of the office at 10:30 at night. And they'll walk in and they'll pull their wallet out and they're like, so do you accept credit cards? And I'm like, for what? Well, I want to sign up. I go, you are signed up. You're in. Well, how much does this cost? I'm like, nothing. This is it. Oh my God, you should charge for it.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. One of the things in the boardroom is we only allow, we really try, we don't only allow it, but we really encourage delivering advice in the form of a question.
Wow.
And so when somebody says you should charge for it, I said, well, is that a question? And they're like, no. I go, why don't you ask me a question then? Well, what's in it for you? And I said, better question, right? And because everybody's tuned into WIIFM, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
I said, I get to interact with what I believe are the most extraordinary people on the planet. And they're not extraordinary because they're a New York Times bestselling author or they're on stages all around the world. They're extraordinary because they have taken their own time to come to a group like this for the sole purpose of making their lives, their businesses, and what they contribute in the world better.
Wow.
I said, I can't think of any place I'd rather be.
Yeah. Yeah, this conversation would definitely go longer than 12 minutes. I'll tell you, you're saying everything that so today, right? And I said it sometime during today. One guy was connected to me from someone else, he was tagged on a post, and like one person said, hey, you should jump on, have a conversation with Angel. And he messaged me. I was following the thread. He then after messaged me and he said, okay, so how are you leveraging this? And I pulled back. I said, hey, let's chat. When we do connect, we could chat about that. And the conversation I was having today with someone else, was why are we building ourselves in that format where the first thing is, how are you leveraging it? It isn't necessary. It's not, I'm an entrepreneur. I understand you need to sell to eat. But everything does not need to come from that place. And having this conversation, which is my final for the night, it's great that you would come and show a model that has been working tremendously, that is bringing value, and your focus is not, hey, how could I leverage this?
Right. And you don't think about that. It's about being in that moment. But at the end of the day, why people want to know that question, have you ever, it's so common that people ask, what's in it for you? Because they don't want to feel like they're being duped. They want to feel like, hey, this is a really great relationship. I feel really good here. This is somebody doing good, but there's got to be a reason they're doing it that I don't see. And they want to be let in on, like they don't want to be kind of the mark, if you will. They don't want to be the guy that's somebody's getting something out of that they didn't realize. They don't want to be swindled, and they think that everything has to have that. If they can't see it, they can't realize it, they don't see some kind of transaction changing hands. The first thing that we want to do as humans is not trust that.
Yeah.
We're like, wait a minute, there's something, this isn't real. And I mean, it's for the longest time. I mean, it's taken a lot of people a long time to figure out like what's in it for me. And I keep telling them the same thing. And, and some, it's, they get over it. But there's just a really, really unique group of people that I've been given access to. And that's it. I mean, I'm not looking to gain, charge anybody for anything. And I'm not looking to trick anybody into anything. This is just purely about giving and contributing. And in our group, we contribute both ways, and we receive and we give. And I think people really love the authenticity and the purity of it.
Yeah, I love it. I will say it's going to bring great returns. It's just the principle. It's the fundamental. It's the foundation of what life is. Hey, I would want to give to you just as the others, as you said, as the guy came through the office, it's going to happen. People are going to say great things, but hey, that doesn't need to be the focus. And that definitely is where I am at right now. Really glad that we connected. I said this was going to be more, and it has been more already.
Well, that's fantastic. And I look forward to really you and I having a further conversation. I know this has been a massive commitment of yours, and 1,509 interviews in 3 months is a huge undertaking. But I really, really look forward to seeing you, succeed, break this record, and then coming back together and spending some more time together.
Yeah, I do as well. Hey, we've definitely covered our first segment. Let me invite you now, Jeff, into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Jeff, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is actually at my grandfather's cabin. We call it cabin. Up in Lake Arrowhead in California. My grandfather owned the Pepsi-Cola bottling company in Orange County, California, was actually given the franchise in a meeting where he was just having a chance meeting like you and I are having. And his family had been in the beverage business, and the guy he was talking to actually owned Pepsi-Cola and said, I'll give you the franchise if you can get the formulation right. This is back in the late 30s. And he did, and they really had a successful company. But he bought this cabin up in Lake Arrowhead where we would go do Christmas. And he would come up on Christmas morning dressed as Santa Claus up the walk from the lake and would play this role. And he was an actor and a singer and just a giant of a man as far as his energy and his talent. And we always called it the cabin. Well, you think of a mountain cabin, you're like, okay, now I want you to think of a cabin, but think of an English Tudor style mansion at a lake in the forest that he bought from Conrad Hilton.
Wow.
It was like, as an adult, I look back at that and I'm like, that's pretty impressive. The founder of Hilton Hotels, he bought his place in the mountains.
Wow.
And so it was massive, and it was just such a neat experience. But I didn't know from all that fancy crap back then. It was just such a great time for family, and that's my earliest childhood memories are Christmases at the cabin.
Why do you think it's so clear?
Because it was just the experience everything was such a big experience. Everything it was an event. It wasn't an experience. It was an event, and it was like, it was an event. And this is the thing that there's always, I love, and it's really shaped my life. It was an event starring me. Even though I wasn't the only person in this thing, I was every bit as much on stage at this event as a young man participating in this as anybody else that was there. And it just as clear as, I could literally smell the manzanita.
Wow.
Right now, as I talk about it.
Yeah, that is super intriguing. If I were to interpret that thought picture that is created in my mind, there's no wonder that you're doing what you're doing by bringing people together in this large expanse of a world and making them feel that cabin love that you speak about. The place was huge, but just the mere fact of the love that filled every inch of that space created that cabin feel that you so well branded it as. And now you are doing that. You are that person that is bringing, as you said, in that virtual space, just bringing people to a place where they feel safe, where it feels like that cabin. And that to me is pretty intriguing.
Oh, absolutely.
If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Stairway to Heaven.
Wow.
Still is one of my favorites.
It's all connecting here, folks.
It's just a sprinkling for the May Queen. Yes, there
I love it. Okay, so we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. Yes or no. Jeff, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Hey, how many, man?
4.
Ooh, boys and girls?
Girl, boy, girl. 25, 23, 19, and 18.
Wow. Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
Hey, how about screen time? How many hours do you think you spend in screen time? Less than 8 hours or more?
Probably right about 8 hours.
Okay. Hey, Jeff, this was a great pleasure. I tell you, you have no idea how much of a pleasure this was.
This has been a unique experience for me, and I really look forward to connecting with you further.
Sure. Before you go, though, is there anything you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
We talked about Thursday Night Boardroom in here, and it is really a global mastermind group. If somebody wants to join and just kind of see what we're all about, go to ThursdayNightBoardroom.com, and there's going to be some questions. We're all about questions. And you can answer those questions. After you answer those questions, I review them, and then we invite you to come into our Facebook group, which is a closed group, and then we will invite you to either one of our events, our monthly events that we either have in Brea in Southern California or in Somerset, New Jersey.
Love it. ThursdayNightBoardroom.com.
Yep.
Hey, Jeff Moore, thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel.
Amazing audience, before you leave, there's one person I'd like to introduce you to, Amanda Jones. She is my wife, and her passion is to educate, encourage, and empower.
Hi, I'm Amanda Jones, and I'm a registered nurse. Do you or someone you know have diabetes? According to the International Diabetes Federation, in 2015 worldwide, 415 million people were living with diabetes. Just as that figure is overwhelming, so too can the effects of diabetes be. So, to help simplify diabetes for both adult and child, I've used rhymes in my books, The ABCs of Diabetes for Children, and Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes. At its simplest, rhymes help us to remember. If you, a child or friend, want an easy, reader-friendly way to know about diabetes, then get a copy of these books. For more details, you can go to poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.